Hey guys, what's going on? This is your girl La, and welcome to another episode of Whatever You Say podcast. We are going to have a good show today. I hope you guys are ready for
Hold up now. Hold up. Hold the front door. Slam the front door, whatever how you want to call it. I thought this was on the queue with Qadriyyah Marie.
Oh my gosh, it do look kind of different up in here. I was
Uh-huh.
girl, it ain't even like that.
So
I
I
love
know it. I know. I love you too. But I just had to find out what was going on because I'm like, hold up. I hear whatever you say. Whatever you say is the bomb and all that. But I'm like, this is on the queue tonight.
listen. Listen. It do look nice up in here though, so I'm gonna let you.
Uh-huh. Thank you, girl. I appreciate that.
Okay, go, bye, girl.
Yeah, y'all know we over here we playing around and stuff. This is what me and my special guests do. We play with each other. We're goofy. We know how to do all that. So before we get the show started, we're just gonna do a 30-second countdown to give viewers more time to come on the show. Hey, I'm up here jamming to this song. What's up, you guys? This is your girl, Qadriyyah Marie. I want to say happy Wellness Wednesday to everyone. What day is it? Oh my God, it is July 26th. I have a super special guest that's on tonight. I don't know if you guys were watching. She tried to steal my show coming on earlier a few minutes ago. But I'm here. I'm outside in the park. I think this is my second show in a row where I'm outside. Um, the summertime, I keep forgetting that it's actually summer is here, and I like being outdoors and just surrounding myself with nature and just people out here playing and sitting down and watching and observing. So I'm just feeling really good right now. We are about to start the show, as you guys see. I have, like I said, my best friend is on, so I'm just gonna let her introduce herself, y'all. So, Toya, are you there, girl?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, boo.
Yeah.
So I just go ahead, introduce yourself, La Miss Apilla Talk, Till La Talk.
Hi everyone. Besides being Quadria's sister slash best friend, my name is La, host of Whatever You Say podcast. It is a forum for open perspective, deep conversations for educating the race. The show was initially started with not only myself, yet with Quadria, yet this is my sister, and the show must go on, and we support each other in our endeavors. And I'm here to talk about today's topic. Glad to
Yes.
be on the show.
She said, mm-hmm. So I'm so thankful. Thank you for that introduction, by the way, to On the Queue with Qadriyyah Marie. So I'm very excited to have you on.
Same here.
You and I always some of the questions that we have tonight are stuff that you and I talk about, on our own,
Mhm.
outside the show, but some of it we haven't talked about. So I'm curious as well of
Mhm.
not only my answers, but your answers
Yeah.
to some of the questions too. So
Oh,
we're gonna get started. Redefining success. We're two fabulous black women in the podcasting industry. So it was very fitting for us to come on tonight and talk to all of you guys out there. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Tell others to tune in. We're live right now on Facebook Live for On the Q Productions as well as YouTube Live for On the Q Productions. Make sure you share, comment. We want people, right, Toya, to come on, comment, ask us questions, and we'll try our best to answer pretty much.
pretty
So
much.
yeah, pretty much. I'll say pretty much because sometimes people be asking stuff and I'll be like, hold up, let me get back to you. So we're gonna start tonight. This is gonna be our first question. Toya, are you able to read it from there?
Oh, yes. What inspired us to both start a podcast and initial challenges?
Yes. You want to start off or?
If you want me to, this is your show. You tell me what to do.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and start off. We'll just switch off back and forth.
Okay. What inspired me to start a podcast is God. It was the pandemic. I was going through. I was in the middle of be very transparent with you guys. I was in the middle of a separation in
Mhm.
terms of a marital separation, and I wanted to stay productively busy. So I just prayed about it. I asked God, like, what is something that I should be doing to stay busy? And podcasting came to mind. As I was praying, I asked him what. Uh, I asked him what should I do in regards to the podcasting, and he told me to reach out to three other
Mm.
females. So that's what happened. I reached out to the girls. Not knowing what they were going to say. I honestly did not want to do a podcast, to be honest, because
Really?
I really didn't.
Really? Okay.
I really didn't because though people know me to be like very uh personable or like
Mhm.
hospitable or just like a social person. I'm actually very shy. When people get to know me, they're like, "Why are you so shy?" And I'm pretty introverted.
Mhm. Yeah.
Outside of being around people, I don't have a lot of people in my house, and I have performance anxiety. Even though once upon a time I
Mhm.
was an artist, I'm always pushing myself to perform because that's a fear of mine because I want to get
Mhm.
better with that. So that's the only reason why people see me in front of a camera is because that's something that I'm challenging myself with. So moving forward, like fast forwarding into the conversation, the question that is, I asked the females, they agreed to it, and whatever you say was established by the grace of God, and we produced about 29 shows together. As time went on, some people were falling from the show
Mhm.
because of things that, goals that they initially had in mind in their life or just life started lifing basically. And that was the initial plan, honestly, was to help and let this be a platform for people to get seen more because of what they were doing outside of whatever you say. And I think that is did
Mhm.
its part. So that the challenging part, the initial challenges is we were females. And
Yeah.
and it was so many different ideas coming into play.
Mhm.
And that to me was the challenging part because I'm like go with the flow and not saying everybody isn't, but like everybody has different communication ways that they communicate, and that was the challenging part is just understanding people's communication. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
about it. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. We had a nice little ride, and here we are. It's still going.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. That it's still going with you. So the show is still up and coming. We're gonna talk about that later about the future, plans of the show. But I was definitely excited, joining the show. Anything that you and I do together, it seems to always turn. Yeah, it just pops all the time.
All the time. Yes.
It just does it. I mean, it just does. Like that's just what happens. Because of the chemistry and stuff we have.
Period.
Um, I'm
Mhm.
I'm out here. Yeah, I showed you this earlier. I got my fan plugged up,
Right. Such
but
a girl.
I turned it off because I'm starting to feel a little breeze. But this
Mhm.
is just something I was like, these little fans come in handy sometimes out here, town.
Mhm.
But I guess with my podcast, as you know, on the Q with Qadriyyah Marie wasn't my first podcast per se. I
Mhm.
did start off when I had Scholar Media before I changed the name to on the Q Production. So that was back, and I don't want to say necessarily it was podcasting, but I was out doing media stuff back in 2014. So I kind of started way back then, doing media, going out and doing different events and stuff. And Toya, you was part of some of those as well. I was out with you, interviewing and all that. So those were some great times. And
Yes.
the podcast I started, later on, in the future, and I started it not too long before we got together for whatever you say podcast. So
Yes.
basically, what inspired me, like I said, I was always into media. You and I both, even though, like you said, people look at us and say, "Oh, you guys are sociable and you're doing all these different things." I think we're similar in the sense that when we get in front of the camera, we turn into a different persona,
Yeah.
pretty much. So then, as soon as the camera goes up, like you said, we're back to being, our quiet, introverted selves, going
Yes.
back into our little corners and
Yes.
cozying up, with a teddy bear and turning
Right.
on the TV with our red wine. So, but when we're out in public, people don't believe that because they're like, "Oh, you're out here, you're interviewing, you're talking to people." And this was before we started podcasting.
Right.
People would see us at we was going to different events pretty much
Right.
almost every weekend. And
Girl.
during the week sometimes, right, for undergrad exposure. Shout out to undergrad exposure, by the
Shout
way.
out. Yeah.
So we was out and doing our own things as well.
Yeah.
So to say, as far as inspired, just wanted to be out here and give people a voice to whatever their situation is, good or bad, business, networking, just wanting to promote people. And I appreciate you saying that to me a while ago about how I've always been the one out here helping and promoting people.
Yes. For
And
sure.
I try to, remember that. And I'm like, that's something that I enjoy doing, whether I get something back or not from it.
Right.
I feel like
Mhm.
I'm still being blessed, whether it's financial or not, by helping the next person, because you just
Right.
never know. A person may see someone on here on our platforms or out in public, and we post it, and
Right.
you never know who might be watching.
Exactly. Hmm.
We just never know. Hey, cuz, what's up? It's my cousin saying
Hi,
something.
Cuz. How you doing?
So he's always supporting. But
Yeah.
I just feel fortunate to even be able to have a podcast.
Right.
And of course, there's always challenges. One of the biggest things I would say is figuring out, of course, what it is that you want to talk about, what platform do you want to be on. There's all those little details that you're trying to figure out. Should you even start a podcast? Like you were
Right.
saying, you weren't even sure if you wanted to or not. So you
Right.
just contemplating back and forth, where do you want to start and what type of guests that you want to have on, all those things. And financial stuff I hear people talk about that we've dealt with, how much money you're going to put into it,
Right.
what are you going to buy certain equipment. And then you think about it, when you're first starting out, you really don't need a whole lot
No.
to get started, but that's something you learn along the way pretty much.
Right.
So I don't know if you have anything else that you
I
want to
just
add, or you want to go
I
ahead.
just I just wanted to add, if you are viewing today, because I can't see who's viewing, but if you're viewing, make sure you click on that share button and share it to your pages
Yeah.
so other curious minds such as yourself can be informed about this show. We thank you so much for your support, and we're constantly trying to build our platform. So if you are watching today, another thing that you could do to help us is to press on that share button. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, thank you, guys. Definitely, we always, both of us, we appreciate the support.
Yes,
It's,
thank
and
you.
it's not always financial. People always think like it's always about money, which is always great. But
Right.
sharing it would benefit us quite a bit as well.
Yes, I agree.
So we're going to go on to question number two. How do we redefine success in our own terms? So
Success. Success. Everybody has these definitions of success.
yeah,
Yet
they sure do.
defining it, it's whatever you're comfortable with. I'm learning not to like to have these strenuous work ethics, this
Yeah.
go hard, grind hard mentality. I used to always say rise and grind. I want
Mm.
to have fun in what I'm doing. And what I like to have fun doing is helping people. So that's me redefining success. If I enjoy what I love doing, then I never have to
Yeah.
work a day in my life. So it's just being more like gentle on myself, kinder to
Mhm.
myself, taking time with this thing that I have, this baby that I have, nourishing it and developing it in my time, not trying to rush and get instant gratification. So like that's my definition of redefining success for myself. I'm really just taking my time and enjoying the ride,
Mhm.
because a lot of people
Yeah.
these roller coasters and getting things so fast, and it's like, no, I'm going to enjoy this ride. You could take your time. We could sell across the sea, honey, with
Yeah.
this bad boy.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at right now in my redefining success terms. So
Yeah, and that I really do like that because success is different for each person.
yes,
So how you come about success is going to be different because how you redefine it is going to be different than how I redefine or define or however you want to word it.
right,
And that's something that I had to learn because we're taught, like you said, rise and grind. We're taught to just keep hustling, keep going. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but people take it to the extreme
yes,
and pretty much cut everything else out. And then if they don't reach those expectations that they have, those high expectations by a certain period, they feel like they're failures
girl,
based on what society says is success.
yeah,
And it's not always about how much wealth you acquired.
no,
And I think that's a huge thing. People are comparing. Really, we don't even know what the next person has in their wallet.
right,
Then why are you concerned about what the next person has? But
yes, right.
that's another show. People worried about what the next person has. You already know where I'm going at. Just
Yes, I know.
always comparing,
Right,
and if you keep doing that, the way you view your own success, you're basing your success on the next person
right.
instead of what your definition or redefinition of success is supposed to be.
Right, I agree. And some people would say that, hey, I have all this money, I'm successful, but yet I know a lot of people who have money and they're very miserable, or
Miserable,
they have
right?
a lot of money and they don't take care of their health. So
Right.
it's just like, okay, I mean, if that's what you define as success, for me, I don't want it, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting here with all this money in my bank account and then I have no teeth in my mouth, and or my I'm knock kneed and I'm getting all these
Oh my
surgeries.
life.
I mean, all I don't define
Yeah.
that as success for me. Like, but to each his own.
Right.
I want to have a comfortable life. I want to have a happy and joyous life, and that is what I.
That's a success, right?
Hmm.
And that's what I mean. Everyone sees success differently, as
Different.
it should
Mhm.
be.
Right.
But if you say something that's different than what the next person thinks, there should not be any judgment based
Right.
on what your a definition of success is.
Preach. Preach.
But people look at it as though you're supposed to think and feel like them, and each
Right.
person is unique.
Right.
So really, you should not be following the success of someone else.
Right.
You really have to follow, and as cliche as it is, you really do have to follow in your own path to success
I agree. I
and what
agree.
it means to you. But I think that comes with experience, and maturity, and failing a lot to
Mm,
really look back and see what you consider to be a success.
mm. Writing your own narrative to your own
Your
story.
own narrative, right?
Hmm.
Instead of looking at the next person. I'm speaking from experience because I had a habit of doing that,
Right.
of looking and saying, oh, this person, this they success, famous or not famous. And then I had to start looking at my own self and saying, okay, I have to look at my own values, but also not. And I put a lot on myself all the time, so I have these high expectations. So now I'm trying to get to this point where you work on achieving your goals, whatever you have, but don't be upset at yourself if you don't get to them in a certain period
Right.
or the way you expected it to come.
Right, or expected, because like what you expected, a lot of times I had
Yeah.
expectations, and my expectations were never achieved. At the same time, I got something even better out of the
Right.
equation.
That's true.
And so what I'm learning to do is to be more efficient instead of
Mm.
trying to rush a job or trying to get things done. I used to like hurry up and respond to people as soon as but people weren't rushing to respond to me. And when I was rushing and responding to people, my text messages, were coming up with grammatical errors. It's like I'm
Mm.
rushing life and not,
Yeah.
being present, or giving myself grace and giving myself time. Like if I don't
Mm.
respond right now, that message will always be there to respond to. Just make sure I get to it before the day ends. So
Right. That's true.
just
Yeah.
learning to just be more efficient and be present in whatever I'm doing at that moment. And
Right.
then also
Hmm.
just scheduling myself,
Yeah.
whatever it is that I'm trying to do in advance. So then that way I won't rush
Hmm.
this process or what have you. Because regardless, it's just more like my thing is working on quality right now
Yeah.
instead of quantity.
Hmm.
Like I was like,
Yes.
when we were doing this show together, we were like, literally before the show was going to start, what's our next show about to be about?
Right. Watching. Yeah.
What's our next show about to be about? I mean, and we came up
Hmm.
with some good shows, but I just felt like we were rushing them, which some people did not really know. So what I
No. Right.
it was a learning
Hmm.
experience for me to be like, okay, let me be more prepared. Let me have questions in advance because I'm not
Right.
good
That's what I learned too. Yeah.
asking questions on the spot. Like I mean, I could probably from having a conversation with someone, I would need a starter question because I can hold a conversation
Right.
with someone, but like if I don't have that question, I'm just saying like,
I know. Yeah.
and then with performance anxiety at the
Hmm.
time, it was like really bad because remember we used to record. And so
Right. I know we did.
I had to snip a lot of things I was saying out because I would have run-on sentences, girl, because I was so I don't know if well, you're my friend, you understood, but like
Hmm.
no, they would tell me like, girl, you just started talking and topic. I'm like, oh Lord.
Well, that's
So
stuff you learn after over time.
right.
That comes over time and practice. This is one of my other cousins. She said, "Well done, thank you, James.
Thank you,
I
Jane.
appreciate that." And
Very
here's her family said, "Hey, both podcasts are awesome. Keep your head up and keep on shining. You both are going to make it far in life in the name of God."
thank you,
Yes, thank you, Eric. Yes,
cousin. Eric is
that's
so
right.
supportive. Thank you,
I
cousin.
appreciate that. So we're gonna go into question number 3. I think Toya, this is probably gonna be um more for you because I just moved from well, not just moved, but moved last year from New Jersey to Maryland. So I'm still trying to get acclimated to Maryland. But the question is, has our communities and any collaborations played a role in the success of our journey? So that's the next
Um,
question.
I wouldn't say that the community that I live in per se.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
well, right now I do have some supporters here, so
Okay.
they are playing a role in it. I have had some people from my community a part of the show so far. So
Mhm.
yeah, let me renege and say that. I would say that New Jersey, where I'm initially from, because I'm in PA. Shout out to Williams for PA. But New Jersey has played a big role in
Mhm.
my success today because had it not been for me being a performer and getting up on stage and meeting people and networking and things of that nature, I wouldn't be in this position right now. Um, speaking and
Mhm.
being vocal because I still get fears at times. I'm getting better, as you guys can see. Like
Yeah.
I'm learning to take my time. Before I used to be rushing and the anxiety was very high. So I'm like, Toya, breathe, take your time, talk it out, so I'm getting
Mhm.
better with that. Shout out to my therapist. And
Yeah.
but yes, I would say that PA in New Jersey has played a role
Mhm.
in my success today. In regards to that, yeah, just to keep it just straight.
I think we both have as far as talking about New Jersey.
Yeah.
because we both were heavily,
Yes.
involved, and that's something I want to do more of here.
Yeah.
In Maryland, start reaching out, and I have Ty and I both have been, connecting with people, but I
Nice.
want to do, still do more, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's way different, as being in a different state,
It takes time.
because it takes time, because all the people that you mostly know is in the other state. So it's like it's good and it's bad, because it's like it's good to meet new people, but then it's like you got all your old connections that you still have,
Yes.
but it's not the same, because in New Jersey you could just be like, oh, so and so, we want to come out tonight to this event. You didn't have to plan a trip. It was just, oh, let me just you know plan my schedule, whatever, and change whatever, and come out.
Yeah.
20-minute, 30-minute ride versus 3 or 4 hour trip, and then
Mm,
having decide where you're going to stay, and how all that goes when you're traveling.
right.
So I'm on that verge of having to push myself more, and I had recent things happen that kind of stopped me from in the moment, stopped me from going out and pursuing things. But now I'm getting to that point where I need to get back to myself.
Right.
Both of us,
I'm
we
happy
both
for
love.
you though. You're getting
Yeah, thank
there.
you. I'm just
Yeah.
it's hard, especially but losing my mom, my biggest support.
Ooh,
You
that's my
know,
girl. That is my girl.
like tonight, for example, she would be on.
Watching, yes, faithfully. Shout out to
Yeah,
Mama Brown. That was my
yeah.
girl. She's still my
So
girl, honey. She's still here with us.
still is. No, I
Yes,
feel like she still is. She's probably watching us
watching
now
the
and
show.
say,
Comments.
there they, there they go, just talking and running, running their mouth, chatting and stuff. So, just we
Every
always talk
show.
about us talking.
Mama Brown was so supportive. She came on every show, whether
Yeah,
it was on the queue, whether it was whatever you say. She chimed in. She shined her light, and I really
yeah.
appreciate her. And prior to our shows,
Right, right. She did.
active in whatever we were doing. When I was an artist, she was very
Right,
helpful.
she did.
She's an angel on earth, okay, and now
Yeah,
has given her her wings.
yeah.
So she's
And that's what people say. They say we gotta appreciate people while they're here, because they are angels on earth.
yes,
But we don't necessarily see that until they're gone. That
right.
where God is giving us this person for a certain amount of time, and
Mm-hmm.
we're only here for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
People need to appreciate us. We need to appreciate our own self,
Mm-hmm.
because life is a privilege.
Yeah.
You're not, it's just borrowed time where nobody's, promised the next day. So, um,
Borrowed time. That's deep.
we really are. We don't like to think about it that way, but
Yeah.
it's like it really is a privilege to be given life, that we were chosen to be here, because a lot
Ooh,
of people weren't chosen to be here.
yeah.
No matter how much time you were given, it's like
Right.
each day is an actual privilege
You can't get
to
it
wake
back.
up. You can't get it back. Every day I wake up in the
Yeah.
morning, I say, good morning. I try to wake Ty up and stuff, and I said, thank you, God, for this day,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because there's no guarantee you wake up and you're actually going to be able to see the next day. So I'm really
Agree.
starting to appreciate that.
Yeah.
My cousin's on here as well. Oh, let me go back. I'm gonna skip her comment. She said, "Hey, Queens."
Hey, Tiana.
Tiana. She said, "Maximize each moment."
I agree.
Yeah, that's
I
that.
agree.
That's a great comment. I
Yeah.
really believe that. And it seems simple to do, but it's not.
Yeah. We don't
It's really
we get in
talent.
our head a lot. I think as human beings, we're so stuck in our head, we're not utilizing our time
No,
productively.
we're not.
We're not utilizing
Right.
our time productively. So like micromanagement is something that I learned when I was in college. And I
Yes.
think if we manage our lives accordingly, like we can reach any goal that we want. It's just pushing yourself and having the willpower. Because one thing
Right.
um, that they did in the Black community is place books there, and a lot of
Yeah.
Black people do not like to read. Um,
No.
I mean, if we're talking percentage wise, so it's not saying that we don't
Yeah.
want to, but it's not initiated. It's not something that
Right. It's not.
kids have done. They were forced to do it growing
Right.
growing up going to school, but in the household, parents are not implementing that because it's something that
Right.
they apparently wasn't doing themselves. The
They
kids
wasn't doing it right.
watching them read. So um,
Right.
I think that, like, just pushing yourself, because I'm a good reader, but
Mhm.
I did not like to read. I wouldn't pick up a book. Like, I have a nana, 89 years
Mhm.
old, and she reads a book a day.
Right.
Give a book, she'll read a day. So, like, the thing
Yeah.
is, like, you have to
That's
put
something.
yourself,
Wow. That's a lot.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to push yourself, and once you start
Mhm.
reading, you see how, like, easy it is and how knowledgeable it is and how much you can obtain from it. I think a lot
Right.
of people look at the book and look at the pages, but there's many ways to learn as well. They also have audiobooks and stuff.
Right. That's true. They do.
Yeah, so it's just like putting yourself in a space,
Mhm.
to just putting yourself in a space to learn, whatever way it may be, because some people are more physical and
Right.
learners of, like, or some people are more visual learners. So it's like, if you're a visual learner, listen
Mhm.
to YouTubeology. There's so many different
Right.
resources
It is.
here that can help you to get what you need, in order to
Right.
succeed in life. So don't let
Yes.
anything stop you.
Yes. You got that right. Don't let it stop you.
Hmm.
Um. Tiana says we have to be intentional about it too.
Exactly.
And she has another comment. She said we get caught up in the day to day life of forgetting we have the power to choose peace.
Woo,
We
girl.
have the power to choose happiness,
I got
and
the
we have the power. We have the power to take a minute for self care, etc.
Yes,
Yeah, we do.
I
We
agree.
got the
Great.
power. Hey. Yeah,
Listen, we showing our age.
fight
Listen,
the power. Yeah, we do. We do have that.
we wasn't grown around that time, but we was alive in order to hear that song.
Yeah.
So we still
No, you was. That's I'm still 29, so
got I'm
I
still
don't know about none of that.
21. Can you do
Yeah.
something?
Oh Lord have mercy. So you want to go on to next question? I think this is a great question. The next one,
Yeah.
addressing unique challenges that Black women face in the podcasting industry. Just some of the challenges,
Oh no,
that we may have faced, and how we address them.
um, a black woman in the podcast industry. I would say a black woman in the industry in general. But in
Like just in podcasting, or you mean
well, no,
in
no, no. I'm
media?
gonna say both. I'm gonna go off of both. So I'm gonna say podcasting, but I was just putting out there, just being a black woman in
Okay.
general
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
in the industry, but yet being
Yeah.
a black woman in the podcasting industry, I would say the challenges is like being heard,
Yeah.
being heard,
That's a big
and
one.
being respected, um, and taking someone taking you serious, So, um,
Right.
I'm in a good space right now because it was hard,
Mhm.
to for people to take me serious and what I was doing, because I had to learn how to take myself serious first and
Yeah,
foremost.
that's the first thing. Yeah.
Take myself serious. So as I started taking
Right. That's
myself
true.
serious, that's when the blessings started to come out. I just recently had an interview with Trill AC of Cruise
Yeah.
Season. I got another
Mhm.
show coming up with Dash Hudson
Yeah,
next
I saw that.
week. So, like, and we have some more people in mind that are going to be joining the show soon. So I'm just
Mhm.
grateful to be in a space where that those challenges are shifting.
Right.
Those challenges are shifting because
Good.
I put myself in a position um, to uh, to face those challenges and to change the trajectory of
Mhm.
what was happening in my life. So I'm grateful about that. Thank God. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, you definitely have that. It's just like these lessons are coming in all different forms. So
Yes, girl,
yeah,
in all
so,
forms.
in all different forms, just
Yeah.
unexpectedly, and you just have to be able to take them in because with the challenges, you also have good things that come with that as well. You know,
Right.
people look at challenges and just always think negative.
Right.
But you're not going to get far in life if you're not challenged or you're not facing challenges,
Right. I
whether
agree.
whether you're a black woman or not. But we just happen to be used to being challenged because every day we wake up is to me it's a unique challenge. You know, being a black woman, period.
Period.
Because
Yes.
we're just automatically, like you said earlier, being heard. You
Yes.
know, people are judged, very judgmental, and I'm sitting here like black women have done so many things,
Yeah.
have made so many accomplishments
Right.
that you don't even know that we did unless you see it in a in a movie and you learn, oh, I didn't know a black woman did that.
Right.
So it's just like we've been facing challenges, and that's probably why we excel so much, no matter what it is, whether it's science or podcasting,
I agree.
because our life is full of challenges, and we just naturally, I think, we know how to overcome.
Right. We find a way. We
We
find a
find
way.
some type of way.
We find a way because even just being, um, a single mom is just like we just
Mhm.
take it to gear. Like my child got to eat.
Right.
Bills got to get paid. I'm not gonna see us going without, and
No, you're not.
things have to get accomplished. Like
Right.
in order for me to be a good mom, and just order for my son to have, and for myself to have.
Right.
You know, um,
Right.
you just have to do what you have to do. You just got to put in your big girl panties and do what you have to do because time has have changed. Like women are doing the same thing that men are
Right.
doing.
They are. That's true.
We're in the same position as
So they
them.
better watch out, men. You heard that?
So yeah, we're
So
doing the
it said women doing the same thing. So
same.
and
Yeah,
women bring an extra little touch to it that's different,
yeah,
than men. Because that's just from being a woman.
yeah. And
Tiana says, how has your journeys doing podcasts shaped the way you go about your day to day? Are you more understanding or open minded? That's a very good question.
both, because
Yeah.
when you're having a discussion with somebody and you're allowing them to have the platform to answer a question, they challenge your perspective in life.
Yes, they
They
do.
open your perspective. I'm like, oh, I never thought about it
Right.
like this. So it's helping
Yeah.
me actually to heal from things, known and
Mhm.
unknown, and
Right.
conversations with men about relationships, or a
Yeah.
list of people about relationships. It's
Mhm.
helping me to be more open-minded, especially about things that I may have went through in the past. I had a show called Life After Divorce, and I allow my space
Mhm.
to be I allow um whatever you say podcast to be a space where people can speak their mind, but respectfully say what's on their mind and allow it to educate people instead of bashing people. I don't want
Right.
my space to be a forum of drama.
Mhm.
So like I
No.
appreciate the fact that us as a race can come together and respectfully have these conversations, like agreed upon or not agreed upon, so we just,
Yeah.
it's just very good for us to be more open-minded because everybody
Mhm.
thinks differently, and I think that
Yeah.
make a lot of relationships last is like we can agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything, and I think that we're looking for
Mhm.
Mr. and Mrs. Perfect in life, yet we have to there's some things, like if you don't agree, some things are deal
Mhm.
breakers. I believe if you
Mhm.
feel like, listen, I just don't like this is a deal breaker for me, there is a such
Right.
thing. Yet if a person doesn't like your food, then give them the food that they like. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We have to like the same meal or what have you, but we might have different belief systems that might cause
Yeah.
friction in our relationship, or we might not be equally yoked. So that's another
Mhm.
subject at hand. So I mean, if you like your tissue to roll down this way and the other person likes it to come down that way, I mean, that's something simple that can possibly
Right.
be.
That's simple.
But yes, it has
It
definitely.
should be simple. But
You
I
have
do
tissue.
like my toilet tissue a certain way. But
Well, I don't even care how the tissue, long as the tissue end up in my hand.
as
Like,
long as you have soft
long
tissue,
as I have some tissue, like, but some people just are very
yeah,
particular, and I'm
right.
like, and I'm glad I'm easy breezy lemon squeezy because I'm like, you put the tissue on then, because if I'm just putting it on, I'm not putting it on trying to figure out how it's being put on.
How to put on, right? You just putting it on.
If you have an issue with the
Yeah,
tissue, you put it on yourself. So, like,
right.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
really understanding and open minded.
Yeah, I definitely agree with pretty much everything you said. Definitely has opened my mind because that's why I try to have guests on, and we're gonna talk about that actually the next question. But I have guests on that intentionally is there to expand my mind
Mm,
because I'm there to learn from them because I
yeah,
know I don't know everything. There's plenty I don't know.
right,
So I'm very open to hearing someone else's perspective, even with my own therapist. Like just listening, getting perspectives of the next person because we do
right,
have a tendency of seeing things just one way and that's it
right,
because it's based on our perception and that's not always the reality.
right.
So sometimes you need someone to kind of give you that other perspective or reality check on what you're thinking because it may not be right.
Right. And I agree with you, sis, because you know what,
Hmm.
watching your show has been very informative, I would say. And
I'm glad you feel that way.
have to go back to your show, like when it came to, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my goodness, I sold my house. Like your real estate episode, you guys
Right.
her episode in regards
Hmm.
to real estate. But like that episode was really good. And it
Thank you.
made me want to get back into the market in regards to like purchasing a home. And because I'm like, oh, I'm actually a first time home buyer again after 3 years of not owning a home. So it was
Right.
it was very informative, and it actually inspired me to eventually
Right.
do a show, but it was like it wasn't males, it was females in regards to
Hmm.
real estate and what have you. But yeah, check our show out, guys, for the ones who haven't. If you are on
Yeah,
Spotify.
I want to get more guests like that. Like you said, the real estate. I think that was a big show. Anything I deal with housing or financials tends to be big
Yeah,
because it's necessary. Our community we don't know much about housing or
right,
real estate
right,
or just reaching out to financial planners and just budgeting. There's a lot of things we don't know when it comes to money.
right.
So I try to focus a lot on that. Tiana has another question. She said, "Is it a lot of work doing a podcast? I want to do one from a young Christian woman's point of view and talk about taboo subjects like sex, being married, self-love, etc. But honestly, it just seems like a lot. I feel like the church doesn't talk about a lot that women generally have questions
Um, Girl, hit me up after the show. I do.
on."
I actually do podcast workshops. So we're connected. Just hit me up.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I will see what works best for you. And we'll get your
Mhm.
show up and running in no time. But I think it's easy. It just depends on what system you're trying to do. And you just allocate
Right.
time for
Mhm.
the time you want to do your show. Like I said, you micromanage it into your life. You allocate
Mhm.
that time, you put things together, and you move forward. But yeah, hit me up, girl.
Yeah, because I mean, what she's saying that she wants to talk about from a young Christian woman's point of view, I think that's needed.
Yes, I think it's needed. It's a
It
space.
really is.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all gonna talk after, and we all can talk and help
Yes,
help her get
definitely.
started. She said, "I'm
But
definitely gonna hit you up."
your cousin,
Yes.
your friend. What's that? Tiana is so funny. I'm gonna add a little
Uh,
funny story
uh,
to your show. I'm gonna add a little funny story. So Tiana that's chiming in, that's my girl. We went to school together. I remember we went to this party
mm,
together when we were younger.
mm, mm,
And somehow we left the party and my car was stolen.
mm.
Somebody stole my car, honey. I eventually like
Wow,
you know people that know car thieves. Honey, my car was eventually
that's
found.
crazy.
But like, girl, I was so embarrassed. I was like my first time hanging out with this girl
That's
outside.
embarrassing. That's not your fault, but
It was a mess, girl. But
that's a
yeah,
hot
shout out to
mess.
my girl Tiana for experiencing that moment with me. We literally left the
She
club. My car was
she
gone.
said the raccoon girl when we got to your house.
Girl, it was a
The
night.
raccoon girl. Oh Lord. I don't even know if I want to know what happened with that.
Yes. Yes.
But I guess y'all gonna talk about that later.
Yes. We're gonna talk about it later. Call me girl. Listen.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh child. Oh hold on. We got. Oh, okay. Oh, that's Tiana. She said, "I'll never forget that night, but I had a blast. I didn't feel any type of way." That's right. You better
I
tell her
was
that.
so embarrassed. I was very embarrassed, honey. You can't tell me nothing. I was just like, this is so embarrassing. I think I kept
Oh Lord.
saying, we walked all the way to my house, girl.
Well, I'm glad things worked out. At the end.
Yes.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a car back. I have a car now. I'm gonna
Right. That's
get a car
true.
back eventually, but it was so sad because around that time I was writing poetry, and it wasn't more so about the car. It was more so about
Right.
poetry that was in the car. Girl, they done took all my books, and I was rap like I
Yeah,
had
that's not right.
songs in there. I had rap songs in there and everything. I was just like, oh my goodness, like
Yeah,
that stuff was very sentimental to me, like those
I
books,
know.
because like that was
Yeah,
that
that's
was my
rough.
journaling. That was my journaling. But I mean, I got
Right.
my back, but I couldn't get the my books back. So hopefully,
Right. But you was able to get back, into your writing too. So it's just like
yeah,
the devil has tried to stop you
girl,
in that moment.
I just kept pressing with anything in life. That was one of the journeys that, like, just recapping back on one of the questions, and it's coming to me
Mhm.
because that was one of the hardest things too. That was the challenge as well, is starting over each time.
Right.
Starting over. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like,
Right. Yeah. That's a
especially by
challenge.
myself, especially by myself. And then it was like, you got this. Like, you're good. Like, take everything
Right.
you learn from the situation and apply it to your future. Even
Yeah.
if you mess up, like if I go back to when I first started doing episodes, like at the beginning of the year by myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
I was just like, I see the growth. I see how I'm growing. Like, your show is actually very comfortable. I'm very comfortable on the show. I'm doing more talking than I usually do on the shows because I'm just hosting
Mm.
and asking questions. So I do appreciate
Right. Yeah.
having me on a
Yeah.
show.
That's why I have you on so you can, share your thoughts.
I love you, girl.
Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah.
So our next question is, and we just talked a little bit about this. So, what are some of the themes and topics that we focus in on our shows?
Um,
So, we mentioned some of them.
yeah, some of them, but
Yeah.
mostly mine's is relational and mental health.
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
between those shows, mine's is more relational, mental health, but in between the relational and mental health
Mhm.
shows, I am talking about finances, and just
Right.
educating people. Like, I'll do real estate, anything to help educate people with making money or purchasing a home.
Right.
So I'll put those in between, but everything is always like, I'm a mental health advocate,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I've experienced relationships, like I've experienced divorce, so it's just like, just helping people because
Yeah.
um it's very, mental health is a very serious topic. Some people don't take
Yeah.
it.
It is.
Always check up on the ones that you feel are looking the happiest, because behind those smiles a lot of time is a person that's possibly suffering in silence. So mhm.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that last part. I'm really big on to mental health as well. Uh, I did a show as well back in May.
Yep.
With mental health, but
Yep.
I feel like I need to do more shows on that, not just be focused just on the month of May, but
Right.
throughout the year. But
Exactly.
mental health is a big thing for me. As you mentioned earlier, financial stuff and real estate and um, that's the biggest thing. Business.
Right.
Having people come on that have businesses.
Right.
Physical health. Big part of my show is,
Right.
is fitness and wellness because that's something that I incorporate in my life and
Right.
want to do more of. So I gotta play the role of what it is that I'm talking about. I have to do it myself. So that kind of pushes me to do more because if I'm telling others that they need to work on their mental and physical health and spiritual health, I need to be doing the same.
Mm.
You
I
know,
know.
so
You hear when I be talking to you, I be like, go ahead, healthy life influencer. Gotta keep speaking that into my
yeah,
life, because that's
right,
that's her goal. That's the path that she's in. We're gonna speak life over here. Like, our relationship in a sisterhood, a friendship, we speak life into each other.
right,
It's like, even if we are going through trials or tribulations, like, no, we're
Right,
not
we go.
down. We're going to constantly remind each other of who we are, not
Yeah,
what we're going through. That's not who we,
right.
that's circumstantial. Like those
Yeah,
things.
it is.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's a blooper.
Oh,
But
goodness. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm out here now, the wind trying to pick up and stuff. But, child, it feels good out here, though.
Nice.
Our next question is, yeah, I like the fresh air. The next question is, how do you approach creating a safe and inclusive a space for listeners? Like, what steps have you taken um to ensure that the podcast reflects that?
I mean, I don't think I listen, to be honest, I
Mhm.
don't think I create a safe and inclusive space for listeners. I
Okay.
I allow a transparent space. I do
Mhm.
tell my guests what we're talking about in advance, and I do ask them what they are comfortable
Right.
with answering prior to. I send them the questions in advance so they can be well prepared. I do let them know to, be mindful of their language and or what have you. And just depending on who the person is. Like if I have you on my show,
Mhm.
not on my show, I didn't really have to say much. But some,
Right. I haven't either.
yeah, because of who they
Yeah.
are. Like I have
It's
a
yeah.
good catalog of people that, just respectfully, they're good.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think, but it is a space
Right. That's true.
for open perspective. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to you if you want to listen to the show and be open minded to take in
Mhm.
that to help challenge your perspective. So it's not an offensive
Yeah.
show, it's an honest and transparent show, it's whatever you say.
It
So
actually is whatever you say,
it's
and
really whatever you say. Like I
that's
just,
yeah, whatever
yeah.
you have to say.
Hmm. But
And
I don't
I
have
feel the
topics
same
that
way
are going to
too.
be, yeah, I don't have topics that are going to disrespect people. So I guess
Mhm.
that question, yeah, just my topics aren't the space for disrespecting people, it's for educating people. So
Yeah, that's what I'm big on. As well educating people.
yeah, if you're offended, then that's something like you may need to work on.
Right.
Because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not, it's yeah, it's not for the weak at heart, like
Right. It's not one like you said. There are podcasts out here that tries to offend people too.
yeah, it's
But
yeah,
then sometimes people take offense to every little thing too,
anything.
because you
Mhm.
can't be coming on and being so honest and real that people actually get upset
Yes,
because
I
people
agree.
don't want to hear certain things
Right. Hmm.
because you're telling the truth about something,
Right. Hmm.
and people don't like to be told on themselves.
Right.
So I think that's a big thing. But like you said, our shows is both the shows is definitely
I
inclusive for
agree.
people. We have people from all walks of life that come on,
Yeah.
different nationalities and
Country.
backgrounds and financial, you know, wellness, all different levels of finance. So
Right.
I think you and I have been doing a pretty good job at that.
Yes, you're doing great, sis. And you've been
Yeah,
very
thank you.
inspiring. Like I've have asked you questions
Mhm.
in regards to it because I knew that you were doing it prior to the show starting and
Right.
whatever you say, podcast starting. And yeah, like I
Mhm.
appreciate you because I knew that like I was like, she does a show on Wednesdays. I usually don't work on Wednesdays. So you have been very like accommodating for like sharing
Mhm.
Wednesdays with me. So I really appreciate you
Yeah.
for being a part of that aspect in my life. So
Yeah. So and that's how we have to be to help support each other.
yeah. Hmm.
The next question, I think you and I know a lot about staying motivated when facing moments of self doubt or insecurity. I think that's a big thing. I hear
Um,
people talk about often, not just that does podcasting, but just staying motivated. Period, because it goes back to those challenges we've been talking about.
yeah, it can be very overwhelming at times. There are times where I
Yeah.
had to take mental health breaks just to sit back and evaluate if this is something um, that I want to continue to do in my life.
Right.
When the girls just started to go their separate ways because of life and different, you know, challenges
Mhm.
or just different paths that they wanted to go into their life, um, um, that was a little bit discouraging for me.
Yeah.
Okay, to share my
Right. I
story,
know.
I had the mindset to be like, okay, let's just keep going, let's keep going. But I took a little break. When I took my break, and I prayed about it, God just
Mhm.
opened a door for people to come in my life, like a marketing manager. Shout out
Right.
to beloved brand, beloved,
Mhm.
beloved brand. Sorry, I'm just getting discombobulated right now.
Well, it's okay.
For the marketing, who is run by Carita Lugo. I'm just very grateful for people like her who have stepped in and
Yeah.
taught me like I don't have to take on everything by myself.
Right. By yourself. Right. That's
Yeah,
a big thing, especially as black as black people, black women in general.
yeah,
We're so used to having to try to do everything, and we don't necessarily have to do everything.
right, right,
But
right,
we just sometimes I think we just feel like we have to
right, right, right.
when
Mm-hmm.
we don't necessarily always have to. You know, you just have to ask for help. And there's
Right,
people out here that's willing to help. Some people looking for work and looking for places that people to help.
right, right.
But again, we try, like you said, you try to do marketing, you try to do the promotion, you're doing the hosting, you're doing the engineering,
Girl,
just doing everything, sales, whatever. And there's people out here that's what they do,
right.
and that's what they love to do.
I mean, but you have to do what you have to do until the doors open.
Right,
I mean,
right. Well, when you first start out, you definitely have to.
yeah,
Eric says people don't like to hear the truth; they run away from it. You have to face it head on so you can grow.
I agree.
Yes, that's 100% true. Because people, like I said, when you speaking the truth, it's just like people think you're not supposed to speak the truth. You're supposed to lie, and that's not helping anybody.
And like you said, everybody has their own, going back to what you were saying earlier,
Hmm.
um, their own definition of success or their own truth.
Right,
I
their
would
own
say
truth.
people have
Yeah.
their own truth. So whatever they perceive to be true to them, it's like,
Right.
they may not like what your truth is, so
Right. That's true.
you can always change the station. Okay.
So okay, all right. She said change the station, y'all.
Yeah, change the
You don't
station.
like it, just change the
You
station.
just change the station. We have
Period. That's
in
right.
life and that's just with anything. Like I'm learning that
Right.
change everything, change, you know, friendships, any ship that you're choosing to sail, and it doesn't have to be
Right.
negative. It's just like this isn't working for me. This and be okay with it not working for
Be
you.
okay. Right.
It will hurt me a lot to lose people, and I've just
Mhm.
learned that, like, I mean, you get over it eventually. Like, there's no hard feelings, and it's like life must
Yeah.
happen, and you have to do what's best for you because sometimes people
Yeah,
can
you do.
hold you back. Some people are not supportive in your life, and I mean, and that's why,
Yeah, that's the worst.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you just gotta keep it moving.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Let's stay motivated. Yeah, it's like you're not always going to be motivated, but you
Nope.
got to find that's where the support comes in.
Yep.
Someone you might need another person to actually be there to kind of help remind you of why you started something, because
Right.
it's not always going to be ups
Yeah.
in life, and we do question ourselves or why are we doing something if things is not going how we plan, but things are not meant to always go how we plan. It's meant to go as God's plans, not what
Right.
we plan.
And I'm learning because I've had those feelings plenty of times. Yet in those
Mhm.
moments, literally in those moments, if you just allow yourself
Yeah.
to rest, if you allow yourself to rest, and I don't know what it is that you guys do, but my thing is pray. Once
Mhm.
I prayed and
Yeah.
I gave it away, I just
Right.
cast my prayer out and I just waited patiently for myself to get a sign. My sign could come through
Right.
TV, it could come through another person, it could come from walking down the street, whatever it is. But at this moment, I sent
Right.
prayer out. Now I'm just going to patiently wait. I'm not going to be looking at like, where's it coming? When is it coming? It's going it
Right. It's gonna come. Right. I
it's
agree
gonna
with
drop
you.
on your lap and you're just like, okay. Because sometimes you may need a break. You
Yeah,
might
you do. Sometimes you do.
you might need a detox from social media. And
Yeah.
focus on yourself. It might be some things that you need to work on with yourself because you're so involved in what you're doing that you're not,
Right. Yeah.
even taking care of yourself or whatever the case may be. So it's just be present. The thoughts come up, you send your questions out,
Mhm.
God, and just keep it moving. Just wait on the Lord
Yeah.
and just keep it moving and continue. Like, yeah, success is not going to come overnight. Um,
No, it doesn't. Mm-mm.
and keep letting that story build up, so then that way when you're standing on stages and talking to people,
Mhm.
wherever direction you're trying to go in your life, you can have something
Mhm.
to add to your story, that will
Right.
inspire people to know that, like, hey, it wasn't over, you never gave up, and
Yeah.
this is where you landed. And when you still get
That's
there,
right.
because I have friends who are in high places, they still come
Yeah.
there are still challenges that come up. But what they're
No,
learning as they get to those places, I made it this far. I made it
that's
this far.
true.
I can
Yes.
continue to keep going because I had challenges when I was low and I had challenges when I was high. A challenge
Yeah, that's
comes
the
from a
truth.
yes, and you just got to learn. That's why when you're in school, you learn problem solving, right?
Right. You know,
You learn problem solving at a young age, and as you get older, it's like it's just another problem to solve.
to
So
solve. That's how you have to see it. It's just another problem to solve.
it's another problem to solve.
Yeah, I
There's
like
just
that.
always a way to solve a
Yeah.
problem. So,
Right.
like, okay, this is the problem in front of me. Okay, there's a book about this. There's a YouTube. There's a person that
Right. Something.
there's
Right.
something
Yeah.
out there. Okay, and don't feel like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't have enough, because you could start anywhere. You could start in your house. You don't have to have this
You sure can.
elaborate
Yeah.
background. You don't have to have this big scenery. If that's what you want, then hey, let it be. But if you want something as simple as just being
Right.
virtual or just letting your voice be heard and being on Spotify and Apple,
Yeah.
hit your girl up.
And, and that goes into the next question. What you're saying? What advice would you give someone looking to start a podcast, particularly coming from a marginalized community,
Yes.
that you don't need a whole lot to to get started. We didn't start with a whole lot
No,
ourselves, and, and
girl.
and still have and we still have things that we need to do.
Yes. Honey, I remember when we used to record, I was recording
Mhm.
out of my bedroom, right? And I remember
Right. You sure were.
I had a green background, and
Yeah, I remember.
Liam was an infant at the time. And Liam, thank
Right.
God we were not live, because my baby, I learned to not record on days that I have him. On days that I have him. Now I do have my son.
Mhm.
He's with his Mimi right now. So he is around
Mhm.
me because this is a listen, but I learned not to record on days that I have
Right.
him out. So my son he's in his room. He's having fun right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's playing
Yeah.
with his cousin and stuff. But like,
Right.
I'm just
Mhm.
like, when at that moment, my baby tore down that green screen, honey. All was the back of my room. It was such an
I
embarrassing.
remember.
You remember that girl, right? So
Yeah, I
like,
remember.
the all you see was the green screen drop. You see my bedroom in the background and everything, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, my son was not playing. You hear him in the background. I said, I'm not doing this. I had to talk to the girls. I was like, I can't be recording on days without my son. I can't be
Yeah.
recording on nights that my son is with me. Like this, I gotta,
I
so
know.
I learned that, like, his time is his time and my time is my time. And
Right.
it eventually worked out. And I'm learning that I don't have to have a show every day. You know what I'm saying? Quality over quantity.
Right. That's part of it. Like you said, equality, learning.
Yeah.
You know what? How often you want to do the show, and but I think it really just starts with, just wanting to have the will to just to start the show,
Yeah.
and you got to have a reason for why why you want to have
Right.
a podcast, and why you think a podcast would be the best move for you to make.
Right.
And people have all sorts of reasons of why they start podcasting. Either they're promoting their business, or they're like us, they want to give people a platform, or they're
Right.
promoting some other business. So a lot of times people who are podcasters is not all what they do.
Right.
It's in conjunction with the other things, that they're working on other projects, and it's part of
Mhm.
that. But you just never know that, starting the podcast, where that can take your other businesses, or it can
Right.
turn into a business itself.
Exactly.
So it's just really, and they have plenty of, books, on podcasting as well. But
Yes.
just sitting down, I think it's just, just getting the basics of why you want to do the podcast to begin with, and then you go into the details of, like you were saying, virtually, and equipment, and just knowing what platforms you want, what type of format you want, what type of podcast do you actually want to
Right.
have. As we know, the length of the show, and these are things that can change too.
Right.
And you want it to be audio podcast, or you want it to be video, or
Right.
like we have, both, and what platforms, and how much money do you have, budgeting,
Right.
from the beginning, of how far you want to go, what audience are you trying to target. Those are all different questions, to think about, and your network.
Right.
We got to look at who we have around us that we can reach out to if you're going to do a talk, podcast like we do, where we're reaching out to people in the community, and people we
Right.
don't know.
Right.
You and I are very good at either reaching out to people or people seeing us. So it's like we actually have to do more and more shows so that people can take notice, and
Right.
because we want that, we want a diverse, community of people coming on the show,
I agree.
and getting the word and stuff out. So I
Yeah.
just tell people, you just can't, like anything, you just can't be fearful,
Right.
starting something new. There's always going to be challenges to it, but it's also a lot of joy as well that comes with, podcasting.
And not being afraid for people to see you mess up, because
Yeah, that too.
I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, or try to be. I look at stuff,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
to the point. I get to the point sometimes where I don't mind erasing everything and
No.
starting
Mm.
over. And my friend Karita always say, "Stop doing that. You have to let people see your growth. You
Right.
can't
That's true.
people see this like false narrative as if you came prepared, like as if you started knowing everything." So it's just like,
Right. That's true. We did.
but sometimes I look back and I see like how I'm
Yeah.
doing better, and I just
Yeah.
I
You are. You definitely are.
it's just my thing is that I don't want to see the past. It has nothing to do with the people, but I understand what she's saying. Like, just let them see your growth, let them see where you started, like where you were at, like your changes, how you were developing, and things of that nature. And I'm just like, this is so annoying because I do
Yeah.
not look back. Like, even when I used to do music, I would not go
Right. I
back
know.
to my videos. I don't look at my videos. My friend Romaine recently, shout out
Yeah.
to Romaine, Valentino. So he's working on his projects right now. We got some
Mhm.
things in the works coming up together. But like, I remember he just recently hit me up. He was in one of my music videos years ago, and he was like, "Yo, I'm about to post this, sis," because he was playing
Mhm.
like my love interest in the video. It's my bro. Like,
Right.
that's my bro. But I was like, "Yo, like, please." And he was like, I said, "Don't tag me." He said, "I won't." And his butt still tagged me. I was like,
Still tag you.
I didn't allow it to be on my timeline though. But then I looked at,
Right.
like, you know what? That's an accomplishment. Who can actually say
Yeah. It
that?
was. It
Things like,
actually was.
you know. So I'm just like very grateful for the opportunities at hand. But yeah, don't be afraid to show people where you started.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
see, how you have evolved. I would say that. Hmm.
Right. And that goes into the next question. We got one more question after that. But what plans do you have for the future of your podcast? Because you
Um,
just talked about evolving, and it is. It's
yeah.
literally evolving now.
Well, shout out to Alize Johnson, of the NBA Spurs, who just granted me the opportunity to MC at his block party. We have some things in the work for the future, so be on the lookout for that. And then also, I just wanted to go more. I want to be out. I want to go out in the streets and, ask people more questions and be more live and live with the people. I want to get out there and then challenge myself a little bit more and not
That's
be so
right.
up in my house. Like, you know what, like Quad said, with the pillow, the little snuggly at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
So like I want to get out more and just like talk to the people more. I'm just trying to get out
Mhm.
of that uncomfortable space. Yeah, you will be seeing me out there more, just more live, and then also like doing my show in more comfortable settings. It might be at a coffee shop or something like that, or what have you. So you'll see me doing the shows. They'll still be live, but they'll be, we'll be mic'd up and we'll be in
Mhm.
exclusive locations. So be on the
That's
lookout.
right. I like that. Yeah, just changing it up and growing, evolving.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Where do
like that.
you see yourself in the
Different
future?
locations. Hmm.
Where do you see yourself?
Well, for myself, I think I too want to go out, and that would kind of push me to travel and go to different locations,
Yes,
and just getting back doing these live events and stuff that I like to do.
right.
As putting as part of of my podcast.
Yes,
I love this, being virtual interviewing, but as you know, I had a radio show as well. So
yes,
when
you
I
did.
was doing that, there was people and it was in person. This was before the pandemic, of course, but that's something I still enjoy doing.
Right.
It's great to be able to interview guests and talk virtually, but there's nothing like talking in person with someone,
Yes,
face to face talking to one another. So I definitely want to do more of that, and using the podcast as a springboard for other things that I want to work on.
period. And I don't think a lot of people know your resume. Can you tell them your background? Because my girl has
Mhm.
been like, regardless of the, like, for real, she got to get her
Mhm.
roses. And I just want to give her space
Thank you.
to be able to be able to tell you guys what it is exactly that she has done in her past. So if you want to take the moment to, like, shine your light, girl, let them know, like, who
No,
you
I don't even know. I mean, just to be brief, I have a background audio, engineering. Um, I intern. I'm just being very brief, because I started media from high school throughout college.
Mhm.
So this has been, over 20 years of me working in media and music. But like I said, I went to school initially after high school, for audio engineering, and then I went to school for communication arts, and from there was interning at WPLJ New York. I was working in the promotions department. I interned at Bad Boy Entertainment in the publishing department, because at the time I was getting more into publishing and songwriting and stuff. So I got to meet a number of people there. Ran into Diddy himself, at Bad Boy. So that was an experience, just to be around people that people talk about. And I'm sitting up there in the room, getting papers and stuff, and I'm organizing stuff. So that was really, an experience. And just from there, I went to Full Sail, for entertainment business. So I started to get more into the business side of, entertainment, which I still am. So
Yeah.
I love being in front of camera, but I also love being behind the scenes. And I think it's the same for you as well. We both love, videoing and just seeing things from a different, perspective. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of experience and love doing, like I said, going out, interviewing, going to different events, meeting people from all different, like I said, walks of life, and just just giving people that opportunity to share their voices.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether it's a podcast, or I'm just I just out talking to someone. I'm always interested in hearing what people have to say. But I definitely have always had the love for you know media, whether
Right.
it's, like I said, behind the scenes, or in front of the camera. And from this point, I want to expand doing other things. So I want to get into acting and all different things now. So it starts in one place, but then you start to realize that you have interests and passions for so many different things. And I feel like the life is too short for you not to at least try and see where something takes you, because you don't know how you feel about something until you do it.
Right. I agree.
And I think that's happened with us with the podcasting. You
Right.
didn't know where it was going to go until you started doing it.
Right. I agree. And I
But
commend you. I commend you because it's like you've been, I see, like, I see where you started, where you're going, your growth,
hmm
all the directions that you took to get you to where you are currently. That's a cute cup, by the way.
thank you. Sunrise. Me and Ty got one each, because that's another thing. This is part of my journey. making sure I'm drinking water, and
Water.
I'm not drinking enough water a day, but
Yes,
that's a
girl.
unique challenge for me, making sure I drink enough water.
Yes, I've been talking about that. So I'm that's
Yeah,
good. I'm proud of
yeah.
you. Keep it up. Never down, honey.
Thank you,
Just seeing your journey, and it is very inspiring, like just having you there by my
thank you.
side.
Yeah,
Whether it's road management, I remember when you was like, listen, I want to go into this direction. I'm like, yo, I'm here for you if you
right.
need me. So it was
Yeah,
really
you did.
you like, doing interviews for people like Rock Davis and little things like that. I try
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that.
we try our best to be there for each other as long as we can, honey. And if we are not able to be there, we still try to support in some type of way. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about Qadriyyah and my friend, our friendships amongst
Mhm.
one another, because we didn't allow, hey, because you can't be here for me, it's like the end of the rope for us. It's
And in
like,
a row, right? Yeah, and people don't know how to do that.
yeah, we're just like,
They
okay,
don't know how.
help out in another way. It's like you can't
Right.
you gotta allow people to spread their wings and fly. You can't just be
Right. You
trying
actually do. Right.
and
That's
keep
true.
people in those freaking cocoons and expecting them to
Right.
be there that whole time. It's like it's time for me to evolve.
Yeah.
I have things to do. Thank you for your service. Let me see, like God will provide and bring somebody else in, and
Right on. Yeah.
that he did. He will continue to bring people in, and
Yeah.
and it's like, and it doesn't change the way I feel about my friendship with her. We're still
Right.
here. We talk on
It's
the phone.
still here. It never had no breaks or nothing.
No breaks, like
Right.
no bad words. If we feel something,
Right.
we're very transparent with each other, and we
Yeah.
just keep moving, and we apologize, and we
Yeah.
just
That's it. Like
that's
adults. Yeah.
mature adult.
Yeah.
That's what we do over here. Like, I appreciate you. I love you, girl.
Yeah. I love you
I
too.
love you so much.
So
And
before we go, I'm just gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you what you have, coming up. But I always ask all my guests to come on and share on the Q-tip. So it could be any tip that you want to share. It could be about podcasting. It could be about events. It could be health related, whatever relationship, whatever tip you want to give to the viewers. And I just want to thank everyone for coming on. That's been watching. We've had a number of comments come on, people watching. So I just want to tell you guys I appreciate it.
we appreciate guys.
We appreciate you.
So hi, my name is La,
Yeah.
aka the La Talk. She'll put my name up in a minute. You'll be able to see where to find me. That's at pill underscore la underscore.
Yeah, it's already up there on the
Oh,
bottom.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is at the bottom. Thank you. Sorry. But yeah, you can find me there. What do I have coming up? What I have coming up is next Wednesday at 7 p.m. I will have Dash Hudson on the show. Look him up. He will be on the show. We're talking about rewriting the narrative of your life. It's all about shifting the mindset. That's a space I'm in right now. It's just, just reforming and reshaping my mindset. And
Mhm.
that's where we are. It's I'm learning to be more. Um, mentally intelligent when it comes to making decisions in my life, and
Mhm.
grateful for the show, like we were saying earlier, because it has allowed me to evolve and to open my perspective, going back to the question, that
Mhm.
kind of place, being more open-minded. So it's just educating the race, to be more open-minded, and to think outside of their own perspective.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I'm a mother of a handsome young 3 year
Yes.
old Liam. Shout out to my baby. I
That's
love
right, Liam. Mhm.
mommy is doing this for you. And listen, and I won't stop doing it. He is my motivation. He is the reason why I
Mhm.
felt like I need to get back on my P's and Q's, no puns intended.
Right.
And just continue moving forward in my life. Just stay tuned.
Yeah.
We got more things coming up. I don't want to give away all, but I do
Yeah,
have
you don't have to give them all. Just like you said,
yeah,
people just give them a little tip. You already said how where they can follow you. She said
yeah.
at Pill I Talk. That's how you guys can link up with her to find out what else whatever else you got going
And I will
on
have a
your
book
Instagram. Yeah.
coming. I have a book. It is
Yes.
finalized. I just working with some people right now just to put
That's
the
right.
final touches on it. I still have
Yeah.
to, bring it over to some people to just cross reference a little bit. And
Right.
we'll be moving forward. But
Yes.
I just want to continue to build this platform so this platform could open doors for my next platforms.
Right. Of course.
And that's just where we are. Follow me.
Yeah, and that's where we're only where we're headed is up now. So
Yes, if it's up, then it's stuck.
up get stuck. So you guys, you look up. That's where we're headed.
If it's up, then
So
it's up.
never backwards. So,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
just want to thank Toya for coming on. We're about to wrap it up tonight for Wellness Wednesday. So I appreciate you, sis, for coming on. It's getting a little dark, so I'm gonna head
Yes.
my little behind home so I can get safe and get my little stuff together for tomorrow. But I really appreciate this episode. I think we answered a lot of
Yes.
questions as well as the questions that some viewers have for us. So I think we did an excellent job tonight, and
Yes.
I love you,
Good job, sis.
for coming on.
Yes, and I love you too.
Yeah,
Anytime. I can't
yeah,
wait to have you on my show again. Check out the episode that she was on. We did a ladies' night episode on whatever
yeah.
podcast. That was pretty good. My girl comes
It
informative,
was good.
comes with the questions.
Yeah, it was a good show, very good
It
show.
was a really good show.
Yeah,
And it was funny too because there was a moment
yeah.
where my friend, her boyfriend, popped in the door in the middle of the interview. So it was cool.
It was good.
Bloopers. It's
Good
real.
time.
Real and
Yeah, it
uncut.
was real. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. But I know you got to get back. You got to get back to Liam, and I'm about to wrap it up too. But it was a good show. So again, you guys, make sure you follow her, follow my On the Q Productions, as well, and just keep spreading, the love. That's what we're about.
Yes. Good night.
All right. Have a good night, you guys. God bless.
God bless.
And keep sweating yourself to a healthier self.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I got to throw that in.
Yes. Okay.
Summertime. Keep working that body, that mind, and soul. Peace.